We're going to look at number 4 in section 2.8. We're to use the intermediate value theorem, which I abbreviate IVT, if it's applicable, to determine if the equation cosine of x equals x to the ninth has a solution. Okay, so again, the intermediate value theorem, a way that we can apply this to that is to take this equation and set it equal to 0. In other words, subtract x to the ninth power from both sides of the equation. Right, and so I'm going to call this function f of x cosine of x minus x to the ninth. I'm going to define that function to be defined that way. Now, the intermediate value theorem now says if I can find, basically, I'm looking for two values of x that I can plug into this function that give me one's a positive and one's a negative number. If that's the case, I know at some point we're going to be equal to 0. And it's pretty easy to do. And I think of cosine, first of all, I'll try 0. If I plug in 0 into the function, cosine of 0 is equal to 1. Of course, 0 to the ninth power is just 0. So I get 1 there. Okay. And then thinking about cosine, what would be a nice value to plug in there? Well, I'm going to try pi over 2, which is about 1.57, right? Half of 3.14, 1.57. And so if I plug that in, cosine of pi over 2 is 0. So I get 0 minus pi over 2 to the ninth power. Well, that's a negative whatever pi over 2 to the ninth power is. Well, 1 is a positive number. This is clearly a negative number, and 0 is clearly in between these two numbers. Therefore, the intermediate value theorem applies, and the equation has one solution on the interval from 0 to pi over 2. So basically what we're saying graphically here is at 0, I know the value of the function is 1, so it's up here. At pi over 2, which is about 1.57, it's negative pi over 2 to the ninth power, which, way down here somewhere, I don't know where it is, right? Way down here, but it's negative. So if I'm drawing the graph connecting these 2 points and it's continuous, I'm going to have to hit the x-axis, meaning the function f of x would have to be equal to 0 at that point. I'm not drawing the accurate graph of this function. I'm just saying this is a possibility. It might actually might go up and down. I mean, it could be that it crosses several times, but in this case, it's just going straight down there. There may be other solutions on some other intervals, so you don't have to simply choose these two. But again, when it comes to the cosine function, I'm thinking of 0, pi over 2, pi, negative pi over 2, those sort of values, because I can easily evaluate the cosine function at those points. I do have to come up with an output that is positive and an output that is negative in order to get 0 on that interval. If you cannot do that, then if there's no way to do that, then the intermediate value theorem would not apply, right? Okay, so hopefully this is helpful on this. And if you have questions, as always, let me know.